Hello everyone. So for today's video, you're going to take all those lists and you're going to organize them into different categories. One category for those things that are physical goals, one for those that are mental goals, one for emotional goals, one for social goals, and if you have any, also one for religious goals. And the reason you're doing this is that it's better to have things in more than one area that you're working on. And each of those areas, we may be strong in one area, but really weak in the other. But to truly find complete wellness, you need to have a balance in all of the areas. And so knowing what areas each goal is in can make it easier when we go about setting the goal, making the final determination of what will be in our list for the coming year and what won't, to make sure that we are reaching and improving in all areas. Some areas we may choose to have more than one thing in. Now, this also includes those things that you aren't going to do. So, I'm LDS, so I could include in that area, I'm not going to smoke. In a religious area, is an idea. Just so you understand how those things can help mentally. Maybe I'm not going to get rid of certain books or things like that. I'm not, that one's a little bit harder to think of what you wouldn't do for your mental things. Emotional. I'm not going to stress about things as much. Obviously, that one would be one that he would need to cross off anyway, because it's impossible to reach. To say you aren't going to stress about things is, you're going to have stresses. So with that one, I may be choosing things that cause you stress. For my husband, as an example, he really stresses that my kids want to dye their hair. For me, it's something that I've always been, it's not worth the fight. That's not a battle I choose to pick. But if it was, I could say, the youngest is 16. Is that really a battle worth having? And if it's not, I could say, I'm not going to stress over the fact that they want to dye their hair. I'm going to let them deal with the consequences. Now, one reason I can say that, I do need to make clear, their school has no issue with kids with weird hair colors and everything else. So it doesn't matter what they do to their hair. It should not affect their schooling at all, because it's not against the dress code. If it was, that would make a big difference and it would be worth it for me to fight that battle. But it's not. So that's an idea of thing. So you could say, there's this thing I always stress about, and really, one, I can't do anything about it, or two, maybe it isn't worth the battle of the stress and everything else. And so I can just learn to accept that and let that battle go. So I hope that helps, gives you some ideas on how to make the lists. Things like that. Now, social, remember, you can't make anyone do anything. So you can say, I'm not going to You could say, I'm not going to spend as much time with this person if there's someone that's causing you a lot of stress. But you can't say, I'm going to spend more time with this person, because you can't control that unless you say, with this person when they ask me to. Because then if they ask, you could say, I'm going to say yes more often to this person, or I'm not going to say no as often to this person. But you can't make them go out with you. You can ask, but you can't make. So just keep that in mind, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.